set up. Let's get this one set up. Okay. Apple, Amazon, and Shopify have built massive brands. But what if I told you that there exists a framework, 7-step framework, that was created thousands of years before Shopify, Amazon, and Apple ever existed? And till today, outlasts every single company ever created. Today, I'm going to be breaking those 7 steps down so that you can know how to implement them in your own business. But before we get into it, my name is Roldo and I teach brand mastery to young entrepreneurs and content creators or creators all across the world, and I've helped hundreds, if not thousands, exactly like you. I currently have the goal of achieving 1,000 subscribers, and so if you would like, subscribe, share the video, and then without further ado, let's get right to it. And so that you all know, this is essentially going to be a documentation video and not really me teaching, but more of me sharing what it is that I'm writing in my book and documenting the strategies that I have come up with. And at the end of the video, I'll also be sharing an extra 4-step framework that works just as well and apparently makes the whole world go around. Right. Chapter 1, identity. Your name as a brand, your name as a person. What is your identity? Aleph is the identity of God, and since the very beginning, about 1,445 years ago, Moses wrote the very first book of the Bible, Genesis, in which God's identity, which would later become Jesus, is established in the very first sentence or the very first verse of the book. When you go look at the Hebrew version, you will see that it says Bereshit. Let me read the full verse out for you guys. It's Bereshit bara Elohim et hashemayim va'et haaretz. Is the Hebrew first verse. In the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. Now Bereshit, the very first word within that, is exceptionally significant because that is the establishment of the identity of God. But before we get into it, I should explain to you guys that if I tell you H2O, if I speak those words, you potentially immediately know what that means. Because most people know that if I say H2O, I'm talking about water. Now, in the Hebrew language, every single letter represents a symbol of a sort. So, like Beit, which is the symbol of a house, and so forth. And so, like H2O, when I say Beit, Resh, or Tav or Aleph, I'm immediately symbolizing something with that letter. Now that we have the foundation in, let's get to what the significance is and why you should tell people your identity and establish it, foundate it immediately upon any contact with any person. Bereshit, Beit meaning the house. Resh, put together with the house, means sun. It's pronounced bar. Aleph, which is the house or the son of God. Shei, which is the next one. Shei, Yod, and Tav. So let's go down to Where is that exactly now? Shayit, which is the Shay symbol, as well as the Yod and the Tav. I will link all of it in the description so that you guys can have this while we follow along. Shayit can mean thorns, a wild growth of briars, but it is also used as appointed, as the sun is appointed for this purpose, as well as to lay down. Rosh, which is the second, third, and fourth letter of Bereshit, means head, as seen in Strong's, and the Strong's Concordance has letters like H, 720, 7218. Brosh, which is the first, the second, and the fourth letter, means tree or timber, as seen in Strong's H 1265. And then Shay and the Yod, as well as the Tav, means a gift of the covenant or cross. That's what Tav is the covenant. The gift of the covenant. The Son of God, crowned with thorns upon a tree, a gift of the covenant, is what the very first word is that Moses wrote 1,445 years before Jesus was even born. His name, or his role, his identity, was already established as the Christ, as the person who comes to die for our sins. And that's step one, your identity, the who and what of who you are, your identity. Step two, the story that is associated with your personal or business brand. Now, in the beginning, when Adam and Eve sinned against God, they split themselves away from the presence of God. And afterwards, there was this whole section of story, which if you guys would like, comment down below or next to the side, and I would be more than willing to share that story if there is enough. I would like to say, if enough people would like me to do that, I will share that story as well. Now, when they sinned and split themselves from the presence of God, immediately we see that God slays an animal, which is the symbol that there will be a sacrifice needed, and gives them coats or furs of animals. Later on, when Jesus is born, he leads his life as an innocent man, born of a virgin, innocent man, never sinned, and died on the cross as an innocent man for each and every one of our sins, so that we may have the opportunity to become God's children. And that's the story of Jesus. That's what people tell 2,000 years afterwards about him. And so, establish the story. Let's go to that number 2. Identity. Abraham was promised a nation, and so many children. Moses, God told him that he is, I am who I am. And David and the kings, God establishes his lineage, reputation, and identity through the covenant, where Jesus was promised. And so that's essentially the essence of story told about Jesus and laid before him who and what Jesus was. Number 3, step 3, consistency. And so whatever it is that you do, make sure that you're consistent, that your actions reflect your words, and your words reflect your actions. That is what consistency is. And so the Aleph Tav, two yods, consists of two yods and a vav, which is nails and the hand of God. Meaning, in the name of God, that's because Aleph represents God in the Hebrew alphabet. We see immediately in his name, or the letter that represents his title, is also the symbol that he will die on the cross for our sins. But when you place Aleph and Tav, the two letters together, let me actually grab this board so that I can draw this for you guys. So that we can see the significance of this. This is the Aleph and this is the Tav. This letter represents God, and this is God's covenant. So his word, his promise, essentially. I'm not sure if this is in reverse. It potentially might be. Doesn't matter. When we take God away from his promise, that word tav immediately becomes the word death. And so taking God away from his promise, meaning if God lies, he has to die. And so everything would cease to exist if God ever died, which is very significant, meaning God is reliable and will not lie. So looking at his promises all throughout the word, all of the word stays consistent and in context. When you look in context, there is no I want to say misalignments. Everything is consistent. Number 4, step 4, your promise. Making one exceptional promise or unshakable promise and keeping it. What is the promise of your brand? Number 4, the covenant sealed in blood. And so paying for our sins, actually following through, even when he did not want to. I mean, Jesus prayed that this cup be passed away from him because he did not want to die. But that was his promise. He promised to die for our sins and resurrect from the dead to live again. That's so significant. And so trust is earned through sacrifice and integrity and anchored in God's biblical covenants, his covenant with Abraham, which I will explain in another video if there is demand for it, where Abraham was not even awake for this whole promise that God made with him. And so for those of you who don't understand what the word covenant means, covenant is essentially they slaughter either animals or, in this case, Jesus, and promise that should they break their word to people or to entities, get into a promise, but it is based on a positive, if I break my word to you, which I will never do, then may what happened to this animal happen to me. And so that's essentially what covenant was. Right. Moving on, step number 4, influence. Or essentially, let me just see here. Clarity and integrity, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So that's the following, your followers. The people who stay with you and follow you. Now, you need someone who wants to carry your brand. And Jesus created a lot of people who wanted to follow his brand and share his brand with the world. So the tribe to carry the brand forward, in this sense, is Christians. Now, being the light to nations, to whoever your audience is, creating that audience, and then following through and building, allowing them to, by word of mouth, spread who you are because they want to. That's step 4. Step 5, or are we at step 6 now? We're at step 6. My apologies, guys. That was step 5, the previous one. Step 6, multiplication. And so, mm, I mixed it around. No, I should have just influence. I see there's nobody here anyway, so I'll just edit it and remove it. So let's go back. Let's go back and do influence. Light to the nations. Um, Step 5, influence. Being the light to the nations. Having a mission, a brand must have a larger calling. But why is this? Every single person who works for you must fit into your ambition. And so I know for me, I am potentially in the space where I live, Mossel Bay, I am potentially the person with the most ambition. And so I know from first-hand experience, the reason I'm doing this is I cannot work for someone in Mossel Bay because their ambition is non-existent. And so I might be the person with the most ambition in this town. It's why I want to move. It's why I want to get out of here, but have no means to do that. So I'm currently doing this to create those means. Maybe reach out and have a couple of people maybe reach back. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. And so, what is the calling beyond profit? Do you want to take over the world? Do you want to save the world? Do you want to create a Dyson sphere, a black hole bomb? Have all of humanity work together to create those things. Now, for me, my goal eventually is that I want all of humanity to work together and achieve greatness. Build that Dyson sphere, a black hole bomb. Letting there be no wars, and every single person just treats all of the other people like they matter, like they're a human being, and have their own feelings, own lives, own thoughts, families of their own, and live in communion and harmony, building a better future. Sounds naive, I understand, but that's essentially what I'm doing through this channel. That's the goal that I have. And so this is your friendly reminder. If you'd like to help me, subscribe, enable notifications, share this to many other people as you feel would like to join us in this commitment of achieving world peace, essentially. And then, without further ado, let's continue. Multiplication. If you have people who follow you and come into your fold who want to share your brand with more people, you will multiply. And so, in the beginning of Genesis, God told us to multiply. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it, and have dominion. So be, do, have. And that's where this whole concept of be, do, and have comes from. Because the first step to achieving greatness is already becoming the person who can do the thing, who can have that brand new Ferrari, that Lambo, the house, the pool, all of those things that you want to achieve. There is a person that you need to become who can do things in order to achieve what you want to achieve. And so gather people who want to help you do that, and you will multiply your brand. This is potentially the most significant step, is multiplication. Gaining followers, creating the tribe to carry the brand forward. And then last but not least, step 7, legacy. Your name written down forever. Now the whole concept of legacy is very loose and wishy-washy. Do I buy a building and then later just have it be bought over by someone with more money and then my name is just eternally gone with it? Is that really what true legacy is? Or is a better way to leave a legacy to leave and lead a group of people who desire to carry your goal into the future, to achieve something significant like building the Dyson sphere and building the black hole bomb for infinite energy. I feel influencing, helping, serving enough people who then want to continue your goal even after you're dead is the way to go. Ruckus downstairs, nevertheless. But this is, in the book, this will teach you how to design a brand that endures beyond your lifetime, leaving eternal impact. And so looking back, Jesus' brand is 2,000 years old now. No? 3,470 years to be exact, because Moses wrote the book of Genesis way before. And so what if we created a brand that lasted that long? How amazing would that be? Anyways, let me grab some of this toilet paper and just rub this out. As promised, 4 extra steps that make the world go around. Love. Loving one another, helping one another, showing other people love makes the world go around and be a better place. And so, what does this mean? Step 1, learn. What new things can I learn that'll make me become a better person who can do more things and have more things in the future? Step 2, operationalize. What system can I create? Operationalize. What system can I create to make my life easier? And this is step 2. Step 3, vestige. Okay, now I have a legacy. Now I've done things, now I have achieved things, and now we need to look back and observe it. We have founded our success, vestiged our success, but what's next? Step 4, exceed. And so If you're standing still, you're dying. Think about it for a moment. If a tree stands still for a whole week, that tree is dead. And so, what happens to you? Moving back is death. Standing still is dying because everybody grows and moves forward. So, what will you do? Just allow yourself to die or exceed your previous achievements and become better and better and better. Guys, it's been absolutely amazing having you here with me. Subscribe, like, comment if there were any sections in which you have some advice for me that I can upgrade and do better. I welcome it. But join the community, Shockwave, my YouTube community, and help me grow it to 1,000 subscribers. Share it to people if you feel this can help some other people, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye for now.